Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Council, please be upstanding for the worshipful, the Mayor of Gedling.
Well, we're going to have a thought for the day. My chaplain, unfortunately, is unable to attend. I've invited Muriel Weiss to do a thought for the day. Muriel, oh, she's already waiting at the lectern.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This occasion is very significant. Like any AGM, it's an opportunity to celebrate the achievements of this past year. I know that in spite of all the challenges, this council has much to celebrate. Perhaps councillors and the Youth Council may like just to take a moment to reflect on something you yourself as an individual are especially pleased to have achieved for the community in this year. Just a moment of reflection. It's also an opportunity to consider what you, as a newly refreshed council and youth council, want to achieve together in this coming year. What is it that you could achieve together? Last week, I shared lunch with the Asian Elders Group, which meets in Arnold. They have supported one another and their white neighbours in a restricted way during COVID, and are now exploring how they might want, or in fact need, to change the way they function in the future based on the things they've learnt during the period of COVID. Similar groups of residents exist across the borough, like a patchwork. As individuals face the continuing pressures of housing difficulties, health challenges, and financial pressures. As councillors, you are the ones empowered to create the protective canopy under which all these individuals and community groups can be community. You are the ones who can show all of us in the public arena what justice and fairness and mutual caring looks like. May this inform all the decisions you make as a council during this coming year. And of all of us who support you this evening and wish you well, we will continue to support you throughout this coming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Muriel. Can I please ask that if you are seated at a microphone, this is directed at councillors, can you remain seated when you speak so the cameras in the chamber are able to see you? If you would like to stand, please use the lectern. Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought I'd get through one meeting by doing the procedure right, but I've just been reminded I haven't. Could I have apologies for absence? Councillor Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Apologies from Councillor Brooks.
Thank you. Conservative Group.
And apologies, Mr. Mayor, for Councillor Adams, Councillor Sam Smith, Councillor Greensmith and Councillor Parr.
Thank you. Liberal Democrats. Are you all present? Thank you. and I can see that the independents are all present. Thank you. Right, now, I have a reflection on my year as mayor, which I will start. As I reflect on the past year, I know you will understand if I start on a sombre note. It has been a difficult year, indeed a difficult 3 years, as I was deputy mayor for the previous 2. Internationally, nationally, locally, and personally. My years started with the annual meeting and Mayor Maker taking place during the coronavirus pandemic and was not the celebration that it normally would have been. It is good to see family and friends here today. Throughout the year, I was only able to undertake 87 civic engagements, far, far less than my previous year as mayor in 2015-16. I was unable to organise fundraising events for my charity, We Are Here, as a quiz wasn't able to go ahead due to lack of support, and there was no charity ball or civic service. I have been informed today that £667 has been raised, mostly I think from something I will come to later on. However, there were some bright spots, and I will mention a few of them. In July, I was pleased to reopen the plane in the grounds of St John's School in my ward. It had been covered in graffiti, and my thanks go to the council workers who cleaned it off. In August, a local colic woman organised a fundraising event for Macmillan Cancer Support, which was well attended. In October, I was pleased to open Apollo House, a well-appointed children's home in Mapley, which particularly resonated with me as I was in local authority care from the ages of 6 to 15. In November, I opened the long-awaited Sainsbury's in my ward, bringing much-needed jobs to the area. In December, I was particularly pleased to speak at the We Are Here Queen's Award for Voluntary Service presentation by Sir John Peace, which had been delayed due to the pandemic. I hope you will forgive my pride in being able to nominate them and that they were suitably honoured for their amazing work with families. In January, I attended Sleeping Beauty at the Bonington Theatre, staged by Hucknall Players with the participation of Councillors Ron and Viv McCrossan, who have put on a pantomime for a few years now, with proceedings going to the Mayor's charity. In conclusion, I would like to thank all the Gedling Borough staff who have supported my role, Ian Lowe, the civic chauffeur, for his professionalism and kindness, all the voluntary organisations, companies and other civic heads who invited me, my deputy, Sandra Barnes, Sandra, I'm sorry, I keep getting it wrong. Sandra.
You posh, you see.
I come from the south, that's what it is. And last, but no means least, Wendy, without whom. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest on any item in the agenda? Nope. To elect a mayor for the ensuing year. Can I invite nominations for mayor, please? Councillor Payne.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor, and I know there'll be an opportunity to do this later, but a huge thank you to both yourself and to Wendy for the service you've given to the borough, to our residents, to our businesses and community organisations throughout this year. And I know it's been a testing time, not just locally, regionally and nationally, but also for you and your family throughout this year, particularly with periods of illness for Wendy. And it's fantastic, Wendy, to see you here tonight on form. So congratulations to both of you for an outstanding year. It gives me real pleasure to propose Councillor Peter Barnes to be elected as Mayor for the ensuing year, Mr Mayor. Peter is two things really. One of my closest friends on the council, and one of the reasons that I was elected into public office. He's a real inspiration. Perhaps more importantly though, Peter has given now almost half a century service to the residents and communities here in Gedling Borough, and I think there's no finer office to hold to top off almost half a century of service than the office of being the first citizen of our borough. It's an office that Peter has held before. He has always carried himself with dignity and good grace in the office. Friends and relatives and colleagues around the room will know that he's also held the office of being chairman of Nottinghamshire County Council while he was a county councillor for Arnold South on the county council. And perhaps the lesser spoken about side of civic roles in councils is the charitable fundraising that is carried out, and we're blessed in this county to have significant pieces of medical equipment that wouldn't have been able to be purchased without the hard work and charitable fundraising of both yourself, Peter, and Sandra. I think have done an outstanding job in supporting not only cancer wards and services at both the City and Queen's Medical Hospital, but also children's medical wards as well. And I know they're both causes that are very, very close to both of your hearts. Peter's a real character. He cares deeply about the ward of Daybrook that he's represented for the best part of his entire life, really. But he also cares passionately about Arnold and every single resident in the council. I also think he sets an exemplary fashion as a councillor in just how much he cares about every single member of staff. The times I've spoken to people who collect the bins for us, which is a critical service here in the council, and they tell me that Peter's gone down and asked how they are and what stress and strains they're under and are there any ways he can help, right up to the chief executive and the senior team. Peter really is Mr. Gedling. He lives, breathes and cares about public service. He's a fantastic character. I love him to bits. I think you're fantastic, Peter. I think you're going to do an outstanding job as mayor, and it is a fantastic way to top off half a century of service. You're not somebody who's ever chased awards or recognition, but by God, you absolutely deserve recognition for the service that you've given to the residents, businesses and communities here in Gedling Borough. So I formally move Peter Barnes to be mayor for the next year.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Councillor Clark, the second.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's not a lot we can say about that. I think you've covered it all. It's a dynasty. It's been running longer than the one. What was that programme on television? American one where they kept to be there. Yeah, Dallas was it? Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, that kept going, didn't it? Well, these keep going. They keep giving good service. And I hope that you have some fortune this time, because Meredith's had two times at this, which has been plagued by COVID. And it's not easy, because 1 minute we're doing, 1 minute we're not. People in if you arrange things, it was mentioned about the quiz, people did, some were confident in coming out, some weren't. But I think first job, when you get, where is he? I've lost him, he's down here. When you get there, Peter, is, well, I'm going to congratulate Michael on being a parliamentary candidate for our lot. But the first thing, I'd like a letter going to Forest, and from a Rams fan, that's quite good. But I think excellent work, and I think we should recognise that, and I think that should come from all those representing all the people with their thoughts in the borough. But I'm looking forward to the year. We've not got a swear box this year, so you must be reformed. But we can soon do that to boost the Mayor's collection for the charity, because I think he filled it about 3 times one year, wasn't it? Yeah, kept filling it. Yeah, I can remember it. Yeah. So one's on best behaviour because Sandra's watching. Anyway, good. Yeah, I've great pleasure in seconding you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. As per the protocol, I have to ask if there are any other nominations for mayor. Would anybody else like to comment? Okay then. Those in favour, please show. Anyone against? Abstentions? I declare that Councillor Peter Barnes is Mayor for the ensuing year. He's behind me.
Behind you, like a phantom.
You're welcome. In your own time.
I like it.
Don't normally hold his hand for this length of time.
No.
Thank you. Would you like to read out and sign the declaration?
Peter Barnes, having been elected the office of Mayor of Gedling Borough Council, I declare that I will take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties according to the best of my judgment and abilities.
Right,
Thank you.
Right, can you sign it, and I'll ask the Chief Executive to witness it.
18. You haven't dated it.
No, you join the meeting.
Can we adjourn the meeting for 5 minutes or so while I just get these ropes on, please, if you don't mind? Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the council, please be upstanding for the worshipful, the Mayor of Gedling.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the council, please be upstanding for the worshipful, the Mayor of Gedling.
Please be seated, please. Can I just say a few words in respect of this honour which you bestowed upon me tonight? I've been on this council since 1974. When we used to sit there was 4 Labour members on this side of the council chamber, and the rest of the council chamber was full of my friends from the Tory party, which I'm pleased to see 1 or 2 here this evening. I welcome them this evening. It's been a fantastic 30-odd years on Gedling Borough Council. We've got the best record in Nottinghamshire on looking after the people in this borough. And we should, all the members on this council should be very, very pleased on what we've achieved over the last 20 or 30 years, because we have achieved so much. And it goes down to John and Michael and a lot of other members of this council who have worked tremendously hard to do what we've achieved. I mean, there's no other county and no other district in the county what's in the last 10 years opened a country park, which we've opened, which is so successful we had to spend another £500,000 on finding parking spaces. So it has been tremendous what we've done, and we also got a very, very good record. We're looking after people from a disadvantaged point of view and family point of view. We've helped lots of nationalities who've come into this country, and we continue to do that. That's one of my greatest achievements, which I think we've done as a council. I would like to use the word, we're an international council. We believe in people wherever they come from, and we respect their ability to do well, and I welcome that. So thank you very much for giving me this job. There's just one thing I want to go before I finish, because I think this is important. Like I said, I've been around a long, long time, and we had a phone call this morning from our friend, Councillor, Lord Coker, apologising that he couldn't come tonight. He's got something on in London, and his wife's not very well. She's fell down in London. But we've also got somebody here this evening who's achieved tremendous in the last 10, 12 years. I remember Vernon Coker rang me up and he said, Peter, he said, I've got a young lad coming from university back into Arnold. He says, can you aim down and give him a chat? And he wants to get involved with the council and he wants to be a local councillor. So I says, fine, no problem. So anyway, this gentleman came down and it was Michael. Now, I'd never met Michael till that particular day. And he came in, we sat down with a chat, and we start talking where you come from, who you know. I knew his granddad, I knew his uncles, I knew his auntie. When he comes, he's from Arnold, so I knew him, might not know him personally, but I knew him from Arnold. So it gives me great, great pleasure to congratulate Michael in becoming the candidate for this borough in the next coming election, and I'm sure you will do tremendously well, and I will do my utmost, even though I nearly swore then. I haven't got the energy to do like I used to do leafleting, but I'll do a little bit, but I'm sure wherever I go, the name Payne will get known. So I wish you very well, and I think you'll make a very good job. Thank you. Right, thank you. Can the Mayor's wife present Mary's Dolores' wife with some flowers, please? to appoint the Deputy Mayor for the coming year. Councillor Hollingsworth, please. Am I right?
No, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've jumped the gun.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Ignore that.
Vote of thanks.
This one.
A vote of thanks, Michael.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations on your elevation. I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic year. Thank you, Meredith, for, as the leader has said, what has been a testing year and a trying year at times, but I think the way you have carried yourself and conducted yourself in the office of Mayor has been exemplary, as it was previously when you held the office. And of course, you're a team with Wendy, and I know in recent weeks and months it's been incredibly difficult for both of you, as Wendy's not been very well, and everybody, I think, in the council, right across the council, cross-party, was thinking about you and Wendy and was wishing Wendy well. And as I said earlier tonight, it's fantastic to see you here tonight, Wendy, and you're looking fabulous as ever. You're both an amazing team. You are both incredibly compassionate and caring people. I think it's fair to say, Meredith, you and I haven't always agreed on every issue, but I have the deepest respect for you. You are somebody who has brought your personal experience to the office of Mayor and indeed to the office of being a councillor. And I think the way you have bravely and passionately stood up for, defended, elevated the importance of children's homes in the borough. And we know sometimes when children's homes open, they can be contentious. They can attract contention and sometimes aggravation from residents maybe who have misconceived ideas about what the consequences are going to be for a community of having a children's home in the local community. And politicians often are known for chasing after votes and saying what is popular, and it feels like all around the world at the moment populism is taking over, but you have bravely, I think, stood up for the values that you believe in. And the other thing that I've seen firsthand with you, serving alongside you as a councillor since 2011, and you've much longer service than that, is just how much you care about the most vulnerable people here in Gedling, and that is a huge credit to you, but also a credit to this council. And I think that's been symbolised in the support that you've given to We Are Here, who are obviously an outstanding charity in the area that do work with survivors of domestic violence and other issues that leave an indelible impression on an individual's life. And you using the office of the Mayor, the office of the first citizen, proudly alongside Wendy to speak for those organisations that sometimes don't get the funding that big charities get, don't often get the platform that other big charities get, I think is really testament to your character. Like Peter, you've served very, very passionately on the council for a long time, held a number of roles on the council, but I think you're probably most passionate and proud of your village in Colic. And I know whenever I've campaigned for you in elections, you are held in very, very high regard in the community. So thank you for an outstanding year, Meredith. You've been absolutely brilliant, and you've been a real credit to this council. And a particular thanks, Wendy, to you, and thank you to both of you for the friendship that you've shown me as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to add my congratulations to your elevation to the mayoralty this year. Meredith, I know this hasn't been the year that you hoped for, and certainly, as you've already alluded to, not the year that you were anticipating when you were elected as deputy mayor 3 years ago. But you've borne it with your traditional fortitude, and you are an absolute credit to this council. I'm proud to call you my friend. I know how proud you were when your name appeared on the honours board at the back, and deservedly so. You've served Gedling with distinction for many years. I'm sad that you may not, that this will be your last year, because I know you've already announced that you don't intend restanding, and you'll be sorely missed on this council. You're made of fine stuff, and Gedling has benefited greatly from your service, and of course you've had Wendy by your side, Colic's #1 power couple. And I know what what Wendy means to you and what you mean to Wendy. I believe you were married in the year that I was born, and I'm looking forward to celebrating your silver anniversary next year with you. But Wendy's been an absolute rock for you, and I know you couldn't do this without her, as you've already said. This council owes you a great debt of thanks, and you certainly have my thanks for your service to this borough.
Councillor Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to add the Conservative group's congratulations to your election as Mayor, and to give our thanks to Councillor Lawrence for his year in office as Mayor of the borough. It was a difficult year, not least because of COVID, and the issues which were presented by the pandemic meant that the amount of engagement with council meetings was more limited. But we in the council group for the Conservative Party have appreciated greatly, Councillor Lawrence, your dedication to the even-handedness and appropriate fair chairing of our council meetings. And to my mind, that is the most important feature in a mayor's role. And you were able to disagree with equanimity to any councillor from any party who you felt had stepped out of line. And we respect and greatly thank you for what you did in that respect.
Thank you very much. Can I call on Sandra to present Wendy? Oh, I've got to vote for. Keep again this voting business. Can we all in favour please show? Any against? Carried unanimous. Thank you very much. Can Sandra present?
Sorry, it's yours first.
Oh, I've got to.
You've got to present Councillor Lawrence.
I've got to present. I'm missing the cue.
That. It's Wendy to Sandra now.
Someone's supposed to...
It's Wendy, you're going to present something to Sandra. Yes. Can you present some, please?
Yes.
Not the flowers that you were given.
Yeah, you're right.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Can I invite nominations for the Deputy Mayor, please? Councillor Hollingsworth.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm absolutely delighted to propose that Councillor Julie Nayak is elected as Deputy Mayor for the ensuing year. I've worked with Julie since 2019 when she was appointed advisor to my portfolio. And I know Julie as a person of integrity, commitment, with a passion for supporting the community. I know she'll not only enjoy the role, but she will be excellent in supporting you in your role, Mr. Mayor. And I have to warn you, Mr. Mayor, that she is a former teacher. And I think she will be very strict if she notices that you misspeak any words at any time. So just a heads up, but delighted to propose that Julie Nayak is elected as Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Collis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm delighted to be able to second Councillor Gedling Borough for the post of Deputy Mayor for the coming year. since she was elected to the council in 2019, I know she has worked extremely hard for the residents in Porchester Ward and working with Councillor Hollingsworth. She has, as her assistant and advisor, she has done a very, very good job. She does all this without all pushing it out on the social media. I've done this, I've done that. She just gets on and does the job. So I'm delighted to be able to second this nomination.
Move nominations closed. All in favour of the nomination, please show.
Any comments before we do that?
Any comments before we move? I thought that. All in favour then. Thank you. Councillor Julia Knight, can I come and be presented with your rose, please? Go on.
Sorry, got to read this out, yes. I, Julia Knight, have been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of Gedling Borough Council. Declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. And I think I pass it over. Do I pass it over to? And then can I just say thank you to the council for electing me. It's an absolute honour to be in this position. I've been brought up and I've worked in this borough all my life, and I'm absolutely passionate about this place. I love it. I could never imagine myself living anywhere else. So I absolutely thank everybody for electing me, and I hope I'll do the office justice. Thank you very much.
Item 8 on the agenda. Councillor, this is going to be my chaplain for the coming year, Reverend Jack Bull. You know, it's not very often you call a lady Jack, but this particular vicar of St Paul's indeed, but likes to be called Jack. So her name is Jack Bull, and she's going to be my chaplain for the coming year. But that's the modern world, I'm afraid, and her name's Jack. So thank you very much for that. The next one we've got is to appoint a youth mayor. Oh, I've got to mention my charity, which we're going to try and do as much as we can for the Children's Hospital for children with cancer. We've done a number of years in the past to raise money for charity and for cancer at the City Hospital. And it's always we feel it's always a worthwhile cause for children, because they don't ask to come into this world, and they come into the world, and we have to make it the best for them if we can. So if anybody's going to spew a few £1,000 they don't want, or 100,000, it doesn't matter how much you've got to spare, we will make sure that it goes to the City Hospital for the cancer research and cancer for children. So anybody listening this evening who've got a few pounds to spare, we will receive it gladly. So thank you very much if you can support us for the coming year. Thank you very much. Now we've got, this is an honour for me, because as you know, I've been around a long while, and we never had, when I got involved in politics, it was the Young Socialist movement, and that's what started me off. And now we've got the young mayor's movement, and we've got two people there this evening who've done a tremendous job for the community in this borough, and we do thank you so much for being involved with local government, with politics in general, and we wish you extremely well for the coming years. So it gives me great pleasure to invite you to come and get the nomination for the... Fatima, would you like to come up, please, and say a few words? See, that's it, modern technology.
So first of all, I would like to thank everyone from the Youth Council who voted for me and put their trust in me to represent the young people of Gedling. Gedling is a wonderful and multicultural community that welcomes absolutely everybody, and it makes me proud that I get to be a part of this community. And it's an even bigger honour that now I have the opportunity to represent the voices of the youth of the very community that I grew up in. I remember actually going on a trip to the county hall during primary school where I met the mayor at the time, and I was in complete awe of how prestigious and formal everything was. And I was very intrigued in politics, the community, how I can get involved. And to now be standing here where I am, it's something that I could only have dreamed of back then. I would also like to take a minute to thank Mohammed, who did an impeccable job during his term. It was very difficult times where public engagements were very limited. And it truly is a privilege to be able to carry this role on, and I intend to make the most of my time here. I eagerly look forward to all of the opportunities I will receive over the next year, and I think it will be a great experience that I look forward to learning a lot from. Thank you.
So, good evening, everybody. It's true to say that it's been an honour to take the role of Youth Mayor in the last 2 to 3 years. And as Meredith has said, it has been quite a tough term because there's been all these rules in place and it stopped us from gathering as a community. But I just have a few things to say about what I did during my role, and then I'll give her the medallion of service. So, during my extended term, I've been able to represent young people in civic events alongside the Mayor of Gedling, at events such as the Remembrance Services and the Christmas light switch on in Arnold. I've also started work with Councillors Viv McCrossan and Catherine Fox, discussing views about what can be done better in Gedling regarding young people. Some action we've took on this is we did a consultation for young people, which we've now got an action plan on about actions we are going to take place going forwards. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to create a social media platform where services for young people will be advertised. So this could be mental health clinics, etc. During my term, I got to work with two incredible mayors in Councillor Meredith and Councillor Sandra Barnes. I'd like to thank them massively, because if it wasn't for their support, I wouldn't be able to kind of carry myself and be as confident in the role. So I'd like to give them a massive thanks for that. Although it's sad to leave the role, I've moved on and been elected as the Member of Youth Parliament for Gedling. So now, instead of being part of a ceremonial role, I now have an action role. So I'm representing the young people in Gedling regionally and nationally, and I've pledged to try my best to make sure that public transport for young people in the borough is more affordable and safer. As we can all see in this current cost of living crisis, it's more important that it's affordable to access a basic human right in education. Finally, I'd like to congratulate the incoming Youth Mayor. She's significantly contributed towards the successes of the Youth Council over the last 5 years and is the second longest standing member. And I can assure you, with her being my sister, that she'll do a good job. Thank you.
Can Michael Payne move the leader of the council, please.
I think Councillor McCrosson's just going to say a vote of thanks first.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Viv.
No, that's fine, that's fine. Can I just say a massive thanks to Mohammed for being an absolutely outstanding youth mayor. I've worked with you all year and you are an absolute credit to your parents, Gedling, your school, Cantley Willow. You really have done an outstanding job. Mohammed, you've had a difficult year. I think Meredith has said it's been a difficult year with COVID, and yet you've remained being very enthusiastic. You've been a really ambassador for Gedling. You've been a role model for young people. Your enthusiasm, your knowledge, your hard work, you've had a real impact on raising such concerns as around employability. We've talked about transport. You've been a great inspirer for young people. As I say, you've been a great role model for other young people. The enthusiasm you bring on the Youth Council in terms of topics that we've discussed when we've looked at the youth survey. It's action focused. There's never a problem. You're always forward thinking around that. And your year, I mean, you've done some great work. I know in terms of the remembrance services, you attended several of those, and again, your enthusiasm. And of course, the fun side of you, Mohammed, at Christmas on the stage with the mayor as well, in terms of the enthusiasm. It was difficult, and at Christmas, people wanted to come together. And there you were on the stage with other young people, really getting the community together. So I would like to say a massive thank you to you, and whatever you do in the future, I know you'll make a great success of it. So I wish you much success and good health in the future. And I'd like to absolutely say to Fatima, we're delighted that you're going to be our mayor, and I know it's going to be a successful year, and we'll continue to work together really closely to make lives as best we can for our young people in Gedling. So thank you both, and thanks to your parents as well for the support that they offer to you as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. Congratulations, Fatima, on your elevation. You're going to do a fantastic job for us as Youth Mayor, and a massive thanks to you, Mohammed. You're a credit to this council, a credit to the community, and you are a huge credit to your family. And never mind, Member of Youth Parliament, you'll be on the green benches in the future, and you'll be doing a cracking job for this country as well. So well done to you on a fantastic year. It gives me real pleasure to formally propose Councillor John Clark to be the leader of the council, and I'm just going to very briefly say that I've benefited hugely since serving on this council from John's advice, wisdom, but most of all his friendship. And politics is a rough game at times, and you know, many politicians I think are known for losing their head, losing their cool, perhaps forgetting their way and forgetting their roots and where they come from. John's never ever done that. I think I've said before when I've proposed him here in this council, he's a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. He cares passionately about this council, everybody, whether you are from any political party or none. He cares about all of our staff, but he cares about the area, and he's got a distinguished career of public service, be that his time here on the council, his time on the county council, his service to several schools locally as a school governor and chair of governors. And, you know, something that not a lot of people know, his leadership of Nottinghamshire Police Force through one of its most testing times in its history. He never ever pushes himself to the front of the queue and seeks the limelight, but he absolutely deserves the limelight. So I'm not only pleased to formally propose him as leader of the council, I'm also absolutely delighted to say, John, just how pleased we were when Her Majesty the Queen in the New Year's honours conferred the award of MBE on you. It was richly deserved, not just for you, but for Tess as well, who I know has had her own health difficulties in recent years, which has been difficult for the family, but for the two girls and the grandchildren, John, who I know you absolutely care passionately about. It is richly deserved, and it's testament to the distinguished service you've given to this council over so many years, not least as leader. I'm proud to call you a friend, and I'm proud to serve as your deputy, and it gives me great pleasure to propose you tonight.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I'd like to second John's nomination as leader of the council again. It's been a difficult year or couple of years for all of us, but I think we ought to particularly spare a thought for John with the travails of his beloved Derby County. But things are turning a corner, John. I understand contracts have been exchanged and things are on the up. I can't really add a great deal to what Michael has just said, other than to really emphasise the honour of receiving an MBE. I know how proud I was when my mum received one nearly 20 years ago. So it really is a great honour, and we've congratulated you already in this chamber, but I don't think it harms to congratulate you again, John, and I second your nomination as leader.
Please. No, we take the vote. All in favour, please show. Any against? Carried. Congratulations, Councillor Clark. It's you now, John.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations to you, and thanks for the kind comments. I said to Michael, just do it formal thing, but like any budding politician that's going to the big house, speech came out of it, but thank you. Just before I move this item 12, just to say to Mohammed and Fatima, I enjoyed that the other night. I enjoyed it so much, and I went to the Youth Council, and what a true reflection. And I've really, Catherine was there, Viv was there, all the young people that were there. It's a true reflection of our community, whether class, creed, colour or whatever. It was absolutely brilliant. And that session we had afterwards, where we had a little bit of a buffet and talk, and to listen to the interaction. You should be so proud of them, the parents. I mean, they're absolutely brilliant, because it's got a bit rough over this last year or two, politically, and also you've got all the things going off in Ukraine, all the other awful things that are going off in the world, but there is a spark of light at the end of that tunnel, and that spark was clearly somebody like yourselves. And Mohammed, I told I'm trying to pushing you forward. He said, well, I've got to go to university. Well, yeah, nip there and do that and then come back here, because we need you, these people around here need you, and this country needs you. So thank you. I'll just move on to item 12, which is receiving educational portfolio holders and membership of the Cabinet. That's before you on the papers which are there, so I've notified you, and the recommendation is on page 5 of the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, the Conservative Group is very happy with the nominations for the committees. Thank you.
No, it's Townsley.
We're on this one.
Oh, Councillor Murray.
Sorry, Councillor Smith.
Councillor Smith, do you want it settled, please? I thought he'd done it, that's why I'm moving on, but...
Item 13, to decide the leader of the Conservative Group.
With the deciding the leader of the Conservative Group.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the Conservative Group would like to put forward Councillor Michael Adams as the leader of the Conservative Group for the forthcoming year.
All in favour?
Oh, sorry, second one, Councillor.
Have you got second first? They're not with it, are they?
Strictly speaking, I don't think it needs one, but if it does, I'll second.
Seconded. All in favour? Any against? No, where are we now?
Councillor
Townsley Hinton, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. May I offer our group's congratulations on your appointment, and I would like to nominate Councillor Andrew Elwood as leader of the Liberal Democrat Group. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Second, please.
Yeah, second,
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
All in favour? Any against? It's carried, thank you. Councillor Hope.
Congratulations, Peter, on being our mayor again. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this year. Leader of the independent group is going to be Councillor Bosworth.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Seconded.
Yes, I'll second
Councillor.
that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. No, we're not the chamber.
Need to vote on that.
Can we all vote on those nominations, please? Any against? Carried. To approve the scheduled meetings for the incoming year. All in favour? Any against?
To move it first.
I've got to move it. John's got to move it. You've got to move it, John.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor, to approve the schedule of the meetings for the ensuing year, and also add to my personal thanks and the group's thanks for all the work that the members' services officers do. Sometimes we moan and groan and say, oh, you haven't done that, you haven't done this, or that type of thing, but we realise under pressure and everything else that goes off, but we are really are appreciative of the work that we do, as we are across the borough with all the small amount of staff, whether it's from the bin personnel through to people dealing with homelessness, etc. It's a very small team that's dealing with it, so thank you. So I'll gladly move that. Thank you.
Can we have a second, Paul, please?
Yeah, I'd echo John's thoughts regarding Democratic Services. You do a sterling job, and we couldn't function without you. So thank you very much, and very happy to second the schedule.
Move then. All in favour? Any against? Thank you very much. To appoint the chairs and vice chairs and members of the scrutiny committee, seconded ordinary committees, subcommittees of the council. Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll move the recommendation, which is on page 17. Thank you.
Can we have a second, please, Michael? Oh, Paul, thank you. Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, there will be a further slight amendment to the list. We have spotted one error on the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, but Democratic Services will be circulating that amended list.
Thank you. All in favour, please show. Any against? Carried, thank you. To appoint representative of outside bodies. Councillor Clark.
Yeah, I'll move that. Thank you.
Seconded.
Sure, so it looks like I'm seconding it, but Michael, you could second it.
Bartley Wilkins.
Seconded.
Please. All in favour, please show. Any against? Carried, thank you. Thank you very, very much. It's been a very long evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been different from what we have, because we've not had a council meeting in this chamber now for the best part of the year where we've all been here. And I must admit, it's absolutely fantastic to see those chairs there full with members in them. So I look forward to making sure that we can carry on this tradition we've been used to in Gedling for the last 40 odd years. So thank you for your attendance, and I'll call the meeting to a close.
There's a reception downstairs.
You're all invited to have a drink and a bite of something downstairs. So please stay and meet colleagues. And if you want to do some, there's a phrase they use, knitter and natting to some members. You might get some information you might didn't know. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the council, please be upstanding for the worshipful, the Mayor of Gedling.